Hello everyone, so this is the quick lecture on one of the design principles of Unity. So this is going to be the lecture for the week 2, and I want you to explore the information that you learn from this lecture and apply it to the first project. So let's get right in. So Unity can be defined as a similarity, oneness, togetherness, or cohesion, whatever you want to call it. But variety, on the other hand, can be defined as difference or discrepancy. So unity and variety are the cornerstones of composition. In the right combination, unity and they can create composition that are both cohesive and lively. So let's take a look at some examples. So in this example, a painting by Mark Reedy, he used 3 major strategies to unify his composition, as you can see on the image on the right. So first, all major shapes are organized diagonally. As you can see, these umbrellas are organized diagonally from the lower left to the upper right. A series of parallel lines of the sea and the sand, so these lines and the lines on the sand emphasize this diagonal structure. And second, the top third of the painting is filled with the blue water, whereas the 2/3 of it is filled with this sand. So it's creating this really visually pleasing proportion, which has been used since antiquity to create a dynamic composition. And this kind of a 2/3 composition creates a really nice dynamic form of balance as well. And the third, well, the most obvious would be the repetitive shape of umbrellas. So there are a total of 19 umbrellas here, just creating this repetition. So however, a sailboat and the red umbrella breaks this unity and introduce a variety within the composition. So the most obvious one would be the red umbrella. The most eye-catching one breaks the repetition and acts as a focal point, a point where our eyes and attention goes to the first. As we begin to notice the number of people clustered around the umbrella, we are pulled into the painting and the miniature world it represents. So this umbrella is such eye-catching that your attention goes here first, and then you begin to read the painting surrounding this focal point right there. So we're going to talk about these 5 unifying forces. There are more unifying forces, but these 5 are what I want to focus on this lecture. So through these forces, artists and designers create a strong unifying variety at the same time, exploring the strength of both principles. Artists and designers use many strategies to create unified compositions. So Gestalt psychology offers the fascinating analysis of these strategies. So according to this theory, the Gestalt psychology is something that you will be hearing a lot when you get into graphic design. The theory argues that we understand visual information as whole before we see it separately. So we first scan the entire puzzle, then analyze the specific parts. That's the whole point of the theory. So let's look at the first one. So first one is grouping. So when presented with a collection of separate visual units, our eyes and mind immediately try to create order and make connections. Grouping is one of the first steps in this process. So we generally group visual units by location, orientation, shape, and color, as you can see on the left. So for example, image A on the left form 2 distinct groups through a location, so it is separated from top and bottom, and despite that these are different shapes of elements, we still visually and mentally group these into 2 groups. And the image B, the diagonal orientation, which is the orientation of these elements, creates cohesion of different shapes. And the image C, they are grouped by the shapes, triangles, circles, and squares, even though they're scattered all everywhere. Alright, the second one is a repetition. So just like how it sounds, a repetition occurs when we use the same visual element of effect over and over. So this painting on the right by Russian constructivist Kandinsky shows the example of repetition where he repeated circles to create a cohesive design despite the wide range of colors and the size as well. So another great use of repetition is on the left, where the artist created a powerful composition through the heavy use of repetition. So it'll be the shapes and the orientation as well. And the next one is going to be proximity. So in design, the distance between visual elements is called proximity. So this image shows how close proximity helps to increase unity. More distant shapes read as a separate unit events in the image B. So it looks like these two are completely separated. But fusion occurs when shapes or volumes are placed so close together that they share common edges. For instance, right here. So our mind doesn't register these as two squares, but first initially we register it as a whole, is this rectangle, and then as we look at closely, we notice that this is two separate squares. When shapes of similar color and text fuse, they can create a new negative space as the surrounding area becomes more clearly defined, as you can see on the C. So negative space meaning this white space, the space that is not occupied the subject, which is going to be these black triangles and this cutouts of this circle of I don't know what this shape is called, but anyway. Right, so how do you use proximity in this famous painting of Michelangelo, Creation of Adam? So careful use of proximity can create a visual tension. So see this proximity right there? That's a really strong tension right there. So it's adding energy to the design, as you can see this painting right here. And the next is continuity. So continuity may be defined as a fluid connection among compositional parts. This connection can be actual or implied. With actual continuity, each shape touches an adjoining shape. As you can see on this left, and with implied, we mentally make the connections. So skillful use of continuity can add visual movement to a design. Movement is a visual movement, so in this case would be this kind of a circular motion. So movement creates deliberate visual pathways and helps to direct the viewer's attention to areas of particular interest, as you can see in Frank Stella's painting right here. The curving lines and shapes flow from one circle to the next, creating actual continuity. But the color distribution creates implied continuity, which enhances this really interesting visual flow. So how artists use the continuity and movement? So if you look at this example, movement within composition is very important. In Raft of the Medusa, the artist used the pattern of diagonal lines to direct our attention to a single focal point, which is going to be right here. So you see all this diagonal reaching, the arms reaching to it, and then the focal point ends at right here. So it's directing all that our eyes and attention to this point right here. So focal point is the primary point of interest in a composition. So it is often used to emphasize an area of particular importance or to provide a strong sense of compositional direction, which which you can see on this painting right here. And the last one that I want to talk about is closure. So closure refers to the mind's inclination to connect fragmented information to produce a completed form, as you can see right here. In the image on the right here, Kevin Curry created a self-portrait from a painting samples he collected from a nearby store. So this he collected all this from Lowe's, and these are like a painting samples that you see when you go to the paint section. So these are the unifying forces to create unity within composition. So the week 2 assignment is going to be you finding a work of art. It can be painting or graphic design or video, anything. And you're gonna find it online. You're gonna Google it, and then you're gonna find the artwork that uses unity and variety and then you're gonna analyze the work, and you're gonna explain where you see the unity and where for variety, and what it does to your attention, your focal point. How is this working with the focal point? Where do your eyes go to first? So where's the focal point, and why do you think they do that, and etc. So when you're also make sure to include the image credit to the source where you're copying from. So that is, you'll find the more detailed information on the week 2 assignment. And that is it for this lecture. And if you have any questions, just let me know. And before I let you guys go, I just want to say one more time that I want you to really explore these things that you learn from the lectures and apply to your first project, which is going to be the self-portrait project. So you can really think about how you can create a unity, and at the same time how to create a variety to kind of give it a nice kick to it. So that is it, and I will be posting lectures like this every week, and then I want you to think about it and how you can apply to your own work of art. All right, for this time I'm really gonna let you guys go. All right, I'll see you guys on the next lecture video.